Alright, I've been a server for about 3 years now, and I've been kind of victim to a myriad of abuse while working as a server. But nothing really compares to when people don't really tip. So proper tipping etiquette is what I'm going to be talking about. Understanding why we tip and calculating the tip is really where we got to start. For one, dine-in restaurants like what I'm referencing, I work at Olive Garden, for example. Minimum wage does not exist for us. Yeah, we get $2.13 an hour, but if we get more than $2.13 an hour, we don't get that $2.13 from our company. So legally, our tips are our wages, and that's why we have to report them at the end of every shift. So what you give us is what we are earning. And since they are legally considered wages, we also have to report them, so they are taxed, so we do get that taken away from us as well. A tip for tip giving is tip in cash, because automatically the card tips that you do are taken out for at the end of the shift, and that's what's automatically recorded for us as tipping. And also we have to tip out at the end of the night to like bussers and hosts and bartenders. So even if I make $50 or so in 3 hours, maybe I have to give a portion of that to all these other people who are getting minimum wage. A simple way to calculate that too is basically taking the total of your bill and then moving the decimal point one space to the left, rounding it up to the next easiest number. So say if you have $63.29 for your total, move it to the left so it's 6.329, and then the next easiest number up would be 6.4. Double that, so now you have $12.80, and that would be the tip that you leave. That's 20%. And in a lot of cases now, it's actually already computed for you, and it's there at the bottom of the receipt. So 10, 15, 20% is already down there. All you have to do is copy it, if math's not really your thing. But going back to the fact that our tips are our wages, that's the money that we use to pay our bills. So going in and maybe not tipping somebody is basically saying, I don't think you deserve to earn a living wage. And going into a proper tipping etiquette, committing the main faux pas would be stiffing, camping, and punishing your server. Stiffing is basically you don't leave anything. You just pay your bill and you get up and leave. That is the worst thing you can do. If you cannot, in my personal experience, I'm very salty about this. If you cannot go out and pay at least 20% of your bill, just stay home. Just stay home. Just spare us from your presence. Camping is also maybe you've already eaten and maybe you've already paid your bill. It's just sitting there on the table, but you just take the table up. Well, every night servers are assigned a specific section, so we have a limited amount of tables that are assigned to us. And you all might be familiar with it. I don't know, but yeah, if you camp at a table, we're not earning any money off of that table anymore. So proper tipping etiquette for that would be an additional 15 or 20% on top of what you already tipped, because again, you are taking away from their chance to make more money off that table. And then punishing your server. A lot of the times when I do get stiffed, or when they tell me that my service was great but they're not tipping me enough, it was something wrong with the food. or how long they were waiting, whether it was before they were even seated or how long their food took to come out. Which, again, is also dumb because that had nothing to do with the server. Yeah, your server's not your cook, server's not your host, and anything that is kind of connected to the food or anything, that it has nothing to do with the server. So punishing them is not reasonable. And then, yeah, and so I have a lot of personal experience from this, and it's also a physically and emotionally demanding job. Imagine taking 8 to 13 hours of your day pretending to care about everything that every single one of these people come in are telling you about, and it's very emotionally draining as well as physically demanding because we're running around carrying trays and all that. So understanding why you tip, understanding why it's a necessity and how to correctly do it is important, as well as avoiding the main misdemeanors like camping or stiffing or punishing your server, as well as considering why it's kind of like a dual workload for your server is very important. Any questions?
I just want to say that's ridiculous. You have to tip out the host. I mean, I've worked restaurants